The midpoint formula is used to find the exact center point between two defined points in a line segment. Use this formula to calculate the point that bisects a line segment. Midpoint equals x1 plus x2 divided by 2 and y1 plus y2 divided by 2. In a coordinate grid, straight line segments can be horizontal, vertical, or diagonal. You can only find midpoints of line segments, not lines, since lines have no end. You need both endpoints to find the midpoint. You need one endpoint and a midpoint to find the other endpoint. To calculate the midpoint of a horizontal line segment, focus on the x values, add them, and divide by 2. You have x1 plus x2 divided by 2. For this example, we have point H at 2,4 and point I at 8,4. When we plug these into our formula, we see that the mean and the median, and therefore the middle or midpoint of the line, has an x value of 5. The midpoint is 5,4. To calculate the length of a vertical line segment, we do the same thing, just this time we concentrate on the y values. So this time we have y1 plus y2 divided by 2. Let's say our points are point B at 2,3 and point Y at 2,10. After we plug them into our formula and do that math, we find that the midpoint is 6.5. Diagonal line segments are a lot trickier than finding the midpoint of vertical or horizontal line segments. Here is the ideal place for the midpoint formula, which essentially finds the average of the x values and y values. You see how you are adding the two x values and then dividing by 2? To find the average, which is the midpoint for the x value, repeat for the y values, and together you have the ordered pair of the midpoint. The midpoint formula works with line segments in all quadrants. Suppose you had this: point L at -2, -1, and point O at -8, -4. Plug in the endpoints, being careful with the negative numbers, and you get -5. Then, plug in to find y, and you get -2.5. This put our midpoint at -5, -2.5. Do not be discouraged when your line segment crosses from one quadrant to another. The midpoint formula still works. You do have to be careful of your x values and y values, but just plug in the numbers, divide, and you have the midpoint. Sometimes you won't have both endpoints. You'll only have one endpoint and the midpoint. Here you need to find the other endpoint. Remember that the midpoint is the average of only two sets of numbers. Use that to help you find the missing x and y values, the second endpoint, x2, y2. Let's say you are given -7, -3 as one endpoint. This is x1, y1. Then you are given 0, -1 as the midpoint. Now, you have to find the second endpoint, x2, y2. To find x, we have -7 plus x2 divided by 2 equals 0. Now, you multiply both sides by 2. Simplify, add 7 to both sides, and you get x2 equals 7. Now we do the same thing for y. We start with -3 plus y2 divided by 2 equals -1. Now, you multiply both sides by 2. Simplify, add 3 to both sides, and you get y2 equals 1. This yields the endpoint x2, y2 of 7, 1.